I told you, you talk too much, and by the time I was going to take my last shot, they turned off the lane.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Uncle Shady, tell him about you peeing all over the counter guy when he wouldn't turn on the lane again.
There's no time for that now, Leroy. John's show's about to come on. I'll talk to you later, John. Bye.
You forgot to tell him about the computer, Uncle Shady.
Well, I was distracted.
Distracted by what, Uncle Shady?
Dropping a deuce. Leroy, hit that one more time and see if you can't get that thing to work again. I said one time.
Oh, I'm sorry, Uncle Shady.
You know, Leroy?
What's that, Uncle Shady?
You're stupid. John, are you ready for me yet?
Come on in, Shady. Let's knock this out.
Good, because I got a few things I want to do later.
Well, what do you want to do later?
I want to go back to that bowling alley and try for another 300.
You know, the odds of that are very slim, Shady.
You know what the odds of you getting punched in the face is?
I'd rather not know.
Well, if you keep talking, I'm going to tell you.
So what was the thing about you peeing on the guy at the register?
Just cheap beer, John.
So do you have a cool or uncool for tonight?
Yeah, and if you introduce me, I will tell you.
All right, tonight's cool or uncool is
having a countrywide man's day off.
Isn't that a little long, Shady?
That's what she said.
Oh, you're going to start with that again?
Listen, you're going to either start with this or that. What do you want?
All right, our first call comes from Montreal, Canada. Wilfred, what say you?
Get to work!
Okay, thanks for your call.
He's a grumpy old man.
Yeah? Look who's talking.
I'm not grumpy. I'm crabby.
Well, they've got blue ointment for that.
Not that kind of crabs, John.
Back over to the phones. New York. What say you?
And then I tweeted, I have many millions between Facebook and Twitter. It's great. It's like owning a newspaper without the losses. It's incredible.
Thanks for your call.
He calls all the time now.
Well, it means we got some listeners.
I don't think he's listening, John.
Oh, he's listening. I said he should get rid of all the Obama leftovers on my Facebook, Shady. And then Sessions promptly asked for all the resignations.
Well, that doesn't mean he was listening to you, John.
Well, what else does it mean?
It means somebody's finally thinking up there.
Back out to the phone, Chicago. What say you?
Oh, my baby daddies don't work anyways.
Okay, thanks for your call.
Must be on the government plan.
Sanctuary City, you're up next.
Hello, John.
How you doing, Abu?
I just want to say I can't get the stain off my clothes.
What stain are you talking about, Abu?
The stain from his pee-pee.
Oh, he's talking about that incident last night, John.
And I'm very upset about it.
Shady, I think you should apologize.
Apologize for what?
What do you mean for what? For staining my clothes.
How can you tell the difference between what I left and what the camels left?
I know.
John, just hang up on him.
Well, we haven't got a cool or uncool out of him yet.
Well, he sounds like he's an uncool, John.
This is not cool. I spit on your camel.
Okay, thanks for your call.
Okay, that's good enough for tonight, John. Time to leave.
What are you, in a rush?
Damn right. Something I gotta do.
What's that?
Some thinking, John. Bye.
You're listening to a special presentation of the John Lebang Show.
Bangerverse, Volume 4. Shady's Superfly Sexy Show.
John Lebang Show.
Hey, John.
Shady, why are you calling me?
I'm in need of some help.
Where are you?
I'm in the toilet.
Well, what do you need help with?
I just ran out of teepee. Can you send that robot thing down to bring me some?
Well, she's cooking dinner, Shady.
Well, what's she making?
I think it's tuna.
Forget it, John. I'm going to be in here a while. Send her later. Bye.
Greetings, Earthlings, and alert the media. The banger is on the microphone. Welcome to the only show that causes chronic brain cell rejuvenation. I'm your host, John Lebang, and joining me in this first segment is our good friend, Shady. You mean you needed me to hold your hand in your big debut?
Give me a break, Shady. We're well past 200 episodes, so I think I know what I'm doing.
John, before you get too far into your show, you might want to tell people a little bit about your background, don't you think?
Well, that's probably a good idea.
That's because I came up with it. Everything I come up with is a good idea.
I can think of a time or two where your idea didn't work out so well, Shady.
Well, that's probably because you were there. Now get on with it. You're on the radio and people want to hear something entertaining.
Are you saying my past is entertaining?
No, but my comments will be.
So where do I start?
How about from the beginning, John?
Okay, well, my mom and dad were at a drive-in movie one night, And during the replay of the third movie, they jumped into the back seat and, well...
John, stop right there. That's TMG.
What's TMG, Shady?
Too much grossness. Skip forward past your childhood and start with your entertainment career.
Okay, in 1991, I recorded and produced my first album, Sneaking Peeks. Since then, 5 other albums have been released, with the most recent being in 2004, entitled The Writ.
And if you ever get around to finishing your rock opera, you'll have a 7th.
Yeah, and that's long overdue.
That's what she said. Now get on with it. I'm getting bored here.
Well, in 2007, I joined YouTube, and I started playing around with, various ideas for shows. By 2008, I was asked to be a producer on the Detroit Live Show with Darian Counts. And that's where I got to work with Grammy Award-winning producer Mark Pastoria and his brother Brian Pastoria.
They're from that band DC Drive.
That's right, Shady. How'd you know that?
Well, I'm from Detroit.
Well, can you name me their most popular song?
Oh, that's easy, John. I can even sing it for you. You need love like I do, don't you?
Not too bad, Shady.
And that's what she said.
Now, that's where I met Kenny Olson, Mitch Ryder, and Rachel Adams.
I've had wet dreams about her.
Now who's being TMG?
Oh, shut up, John.
So the Detroit Live thing lasted about 6 months. Then came the first episodes of the John Lebang Show, and I was producing them on YouTube. That lasted a year until I found my first radio station, but that was really short-lived. So I took some more time off to revamp the show once again, and then I found a local station who had interest in the show. And 3 years later, we're sending out sonic vibrations to over 30 stations in 3 countries.
Now, I was waiting for that.
What are you talking about, Shady?
One of your Johnisms.
What?
Your Johnisms. Sonic vibrations. You know, women like things that vibrate.
Not all women do, Shady.
Well, maybe that's why women don't like you, John. They don't like your vibrations.
What are you talking about, Shady?
Your Johnisms aren't sexy enough.
How would you know?
Listen, I know. Like the catchphrases and the stupid words you use. Maybe you should explain a few to the new listeners so they don't think you're stupid. And while you're at it, you should probably welcome everybody at the new network. You know, since it's a big deal and all.
You're probably right. We are very honored to be partnering up with a new network here on the John Lebang Show.
Hey, John, let me announce it.
Why do you want to announce it?
Because I have a sexy voice.
Well, so do I, Shady.
Don't count on it, John. And speaking of that, now that we're stepping up in the world...
We?
Yeah, we. Your show was worse than a cabbage soup toilet session until I came along. And because of that, I think we should change the name of the show to Shady's Superfly Sexy Show.
Well, since it's my show, I think I'm going to keep the name.
Real creative. The John Lebang Show. Took you all of 2 minutes to think that one up, didn't it?
Well, it leaves no doubt who the star is.
That's why it should be called Shady's Superfly Sexy Show.
No, that's a negative.
Well, how about Shady and the John?
No, that name's too close to some other show. Plus, it sounds like we're coming out of the toilet.
Some nights it feels like it. Now, can I please introduce the new network?
Fine, go ahead.
We here at Shady's Superfly Sexy Show.
Shady?
Sorry, John, it just rolls off the tongue so easily. Just say it a few times. Shady's Superfly Sexy Show.
He means the John Lebang Show.
Right. The John Lebang Show. We would like to thank Bubba the Love Sponge. God, I like saying that name. Bubba the Love Sponge.
And let's not forget Rob and everyone else at the Bubba Radio Network for inviting us to be part of the Bubba Radio Army.
And don't forget to thank sexy women, John.
What sexy women, Shady?
The ones who are going to want to lebang me after hearing my voice.
Well, shouldn't we thank all the women, Shady? I mean, we're trying to be fair here.
Not if they're ugly.
Well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, Shady.
Damn right. And that's why no one be holding you, John.
Can we get back to this?
We'll get on with it then. What are you waiting for?
Now you can hear us on Bubba Army Radio every Sunday night from 8 to 10 p.m.
That's right. We've been drafted.
You mean I've been drafted? You're too old to be drafted, Shady.
Well, it's not like you're some spring chicken.
Did someone say chicken?
Yes, now go back to choking yours.
That was our good friend, Wilbert Hillbilly.
You know, he's excited to be on the Bubba Army.
He is?
I think it's the militia in his blood.
Well, it's not that kind of army, Shady.
Well, he doesn't care. Now, can we get back to the Johnisms I brought up?
Smoke another one, Shady.
Oh, kiss my ass.
Now, what were you saying?
Can we get back to the Johnisms I brought up earlier, please?
Sure. How about the mainstream manufactured news? That's one of the Johnisms you're talking about, right?
Yeah, not one of your better ones. That's just your long, boring way of saying fake news.
Well, what are you thinking?
Well, Schmeckle comes to mind, John.
Well, would you like to explain that?
Well, it's pretty self-explanatory if you ask me.
You know, I think you're being a schmeckle right now.
If you don't shut up, I'm going to kick you in the schmeckle.
You know what? I think they get the point.
Now, what about that ugly woman you call a wicked bitch from the West?
You mean the Wicked Witch of the West. That's Nancy Pelosi.
God screwed up when he made her.
Well, how do you know God did it?
Well, you've got a point there, John. She looks like the devil's first wife.
Speaking of the devil, have you heard of the After School Satan Club?
What the hell is that, John?
Well, it's an after-school Satan club at Point Defiance Elementary.
And what do they do there?
Well, they're based upon a uniform syllabus that emphasizes a scientific, rationalist, and non-superstitious worldview.
So another child brainwashing club.
More or less.
So who thought that was a good idea? No, wait, don't tell me. Lucy Lucifer and her crack hellhounds.
No, it's a satanic temple in Seattle.
Didn't you used to live there?
Yeah, back in the 90s. Glad I moved out now.
We should start a kids club, John.
You think? What would we call it?
Well, the How Not to Be Stupid Club. I could be the principal.
Principals are in charge of schools, Shady, not clubs.
Well, let's start at school then. Shady's How Not to Be Stupid University, the place for lower stupidity.
Don't you mean higher learning?
No, we're trying to lower stupidity, John. Not trying to teach stone people how to be smart.
Well, that's not what higher learning means.
Well, what does it mean then?
A more in-depth education?
Into what? Protesting?
Sure, at some colleges.
Things sure have changed.
What do you mean, Shady?
When I was their age, everyone went to Florida during spring break. They got drunk or got laid, and if you were lucky, you did both. Nowadays, all the girls want to protest. And how are you supposed to get drunk or laid when you're sitting in a jail cell?
Can't argue with that.
So what do you have planned for the show tonight anyways?
Well, lost Secret Service laptops and the growing tension with North Korea are a couple of things I'm going to talk about.
And don't forget Cooler Uncool with yours truly.
Do you have a good one for tonight?
Well, not yet. I was wanting to finish up here. Then I'm going to go to the toilet and concentrate.
Is that where you come up with all your ideas?
Well, as long as it's quiet, John. Speaking of that, I'm feeling a concentration session coming on now. Are we done here?
Yep, we're coming up on the first break.
Good, because I'm brainstorming. I'll see you later, John. Bye.
You're listening to The John Lebang Show.
Bangerverse Volume 4.
Hey, Leroy, you here? Hey, Leroy, did you take my...
Uncle Shady.
Now, what the hell are you watching?
Nothing, Uncle Shady.
PornTube, you're watching that again?
Well...
And look at this mess. What the hell are you doing with all these tissues?
Well...
Please don't tell me you were choking your chicken. Jesus, Leroy. Don't you know you can go blind from doing that?
Oh, that's a myth, Uncle Shady.
Now, why do you think I need 2 pairs of glasses and a magnifying glass to read a menu at a restaurant?
Well, it's because you're old, Uncle Shady.
That's what the doctors want you to think. God says different.
Oh, you're just superstitious, Uncle Shady.
You know, I used to think the same thing every time my mother would catch me.
Well, I'm not following you, Uncle Shady.
Well, it's like Pinocchio.
I don't understand, Uncle Shady.
Every time Pinocchio lies, his nose gets bigger, right?
Uh-huh. He was made out of wood, Uncle Shady.
So you should understand the metaphor then.
I'm not following you, Uncle Shady.
It's like Pinocchio, but in reverse. The more you smack it around, the worse your eyes get.
And that's why your eyes are bad, Uncle Shady?
Damn right. I'm surprised I'm not Stevie Wonder by now. Now clean up this place before another unsuspecting victim walks in.
Okay, Uncle Shady.
And don't forget to wash your hands. Gotta teach him everything. Hey, John, are you ready for me yet?
Let's get this going, Shady.
Well, all right then.
So how was your concentration session?
Well, it was more like constipation.
Well, what does that mean?
It means give me the intro. Tonight's Cool or Uncool is changing the name of the show to Shady's Superfly Sexy Show. Not that again. Yes, that again.
Okay, so who's going to screen the calls?
Don't worry, I'll handle it.
Well, if you want to call in, Shady's going to tell you how to do it.
There's one cool